Have you ever wondered if the way you touch yourself now could actually be doing more harm than good? I've seen too many older men struggle with quiet frustration, wondering why what once felt effortless now feels distant, numb, or even painful. They don't talk about it, but I can see the fear in their eyes. What if something's wrong with me? It's not your fault. Your body has simply changed. The skin, the nerves, the blood flow, they all respond differently with age. Yet most men keep using the same patterns they did decades ago, never realizing those habits might be slowly dulling their sensitivity, straining their circulation, and draining their energy instead of restoring it. But here's the part that gives me hope every time. When you learn to work with your body instead of against it, everything changes. Pleasure returns, blood flow improves, confidence comes back, not through pressure or performance, but through awareness, patience, and care. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how. You'll learn the 3 silent mistakes most men make when touching themselves after 60 and how to reverse them so your body can feel alive, responsive, and connected again. Because getting older doesn't mean losing touch with yourself. It means discovering a deeper, wiser kind of pleasure that your body has been waiting for all along. Most men don't realize this, but the body you live in at 60 is not the same one you had at 30. It doesn't respond to pressure, friction, or stimulation in the same way. And that's not a problem. It's physiology. I've seen it again and again in my patients. They assume something is wrong with them when really their body is just asking for a different kind of language. When you were younger, arousal was like flipping a light switch, quick, reactive, automatic. But as you age, that switch becomes more like a dimmer. It still works beautifully. It just needs time to warm up. Your blood vessels become a little less elastic, the nerves a bit slower to fire, and testosterone naturally declines by about 1% per year after 40. Add in stress, poor sleep, or medication side effects, and the entire system becomes more sensitive to how you treat it. That's why the way you touch yourself matters so much more now. Gentle, mindful stimulation isn't just a slower version of what you used to do. It's a completely different biological process. Slow touch allows nitric oxide to build up in the blood, relaxing your arteries and encouraging real healthy circulation. That's what keeps the tissue oxygenated and prevents atrophy. I often tell my patients, you're not just chasing pleasure, you're training your blood flow. And here's the real twist. Research from the National Institutes of Health found that men who maintain regular, gentle sexual activity after 60 have up to 30% lower risk of erectile vascular decline compared to those who stop altogether. So this isn't just about pleasure. It's about protecting the very foundation of your male health. But too many men out of habit or shame ignore this biological shift. They keep doing things fast, rough, mechanical, the way they used to, and wonder why it doesn't feel right anymore. The problem isn't desire. It's mismatch. Your body is speaking softly now, but you're still shouting at it through old habits. And that realization, that's the first breakthrough. Because once you start honoring the slower rhythm of your body, everything else, your sensitivity, your energy, even your confidence starts to come back in ways most men don't expect. Wait until you hear the first mistake that quietly destroys this balance. It's something almost every man over 60 does without realizing it. What surprises me most is how many men tell me they still rush through self-pleasure like they're racing against time. I can almost see the tension in their shoulders when they describe it fast, silent, focused only on the finish. It's as if they're trying to get it over with, not experience it. And that's where the quiet damage begins. See, the male body, especially after 60, doesn't respond well to pressure or speed. When you rush, your nervous system shifts into alert mode, heart rate spikes, blood vessels constrict, and your body moves into what scientists call a fight or flight state. In that mode, blood doesn't flow smoothly to the pelvic area. It's redirected to survival muscles like your arms and legs. So instead of feeding your sexual health, that quick release pattern is actually starving it. I once had a patient, 67, who told me he felt numb no matter what he did. When we unpacked his routine, it turned out he had been finishing in under a minute for years. His body had learned tension, not pleasure. His brain had trained arousal to equal stress, not relaxation. That's the part most men never realize your body remembers. Every rushed session sends a message to your nervous system: this is urgent, this is not safe, get it done fast. And over time, that message rewires your arousal process. It becomes mechanical, shallow, less fulfilling. Now the science backs this up too. A 2022 study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that men who practiced slower, mindful stimulation reported up to 42% higher satisfaction scores and stronger erections compared to those who continued high-speed habits. Why? Because slowing down allows the parasympathetic system, the rest and restore part of your body, to take over. That's when blood vessels relax, nitric oxide releases, and true arousal begins. So when I tell my patients to take it slow, I don't mean turn it into a ritual with candles and soft music unless they want to. I simply mean give your body time to feel safe again. Take a few deep breaths. Let go of the urge to reach the end. Let the process itself be the goal. Because when your body feels safe, it opens up. Literally, the muscles soften, blood flows freely, and sensation becomes richer. And that's when the magic happens, when you stop chasing the finish line and start letting your body arrive. But here's the twist. Even men who finally learn to slow down often fall into the second trap, one that's just as destructive but far more hidden. And it's all in how they use their hands. Trust me, this next mistake shocks most men the first time they hear it. Here's where things get even trickier. Once men finally learn to slow down, many think the solution is to just feel harder. They ease off the speed, but tighten the grip. And that one small habit can undo everything they've just started to fix. I can't tell you how often I hear this. A patient in his late 60s once told me, I can only feel something if I squeeze really hard. He wasn't alone. It's such a common pattern that even medical forums have a name for it: death grip syndrome, a term that sounds dramatic, but it perfectly describes what's happening beneath the skin. When you apply too much pressure, especially on aging tissue, you're not just increasing friction, you're compressing delicate blood vessels and nerve endings that keep sensitivity alive. Over time, those tissues adapt to the pressure and begin to desensitize. It's the same way calluses form on your hands after years of hard work, except here, it's happening to some of the most responsive tissue in your body. And the tragedy is that most men don't even notice it at first. They just feel they need a bit more force, a bit more tension, and slowly that becomes their new normal. But as the grip gets tighter, arousal becomes more mechanical. The brain gets used to one very specific kind of stimulation, one angle, one rhythm, one pressure, until eventually nothing else works. Even natural touch or a partner's touch can feel unfamiliar or not enough. From a biological standpoint, what's really going on is nerve adaptation. The mechanoreceptors in the skin, those tiny sensors that send pleasure signals to your brain, start dulling down in self-defense. It's not about willpower, it's about overstimulation. And when that continues for months or years, you can end up with decreased sensitivity, irritation, or even micro tears in the tissue. That's why I tell my patients gentleness is not weakness, it's strategy. Your body isn't fragile, but it is responsive. Using a lighter touch actually reawakens the nerves instead of numbing them. Think of it like tuning an old piano. If you strike the keys too hard, the sound distorts. But if you play with patience and precision, the instrument slowly regains its richness. There's real data behind this too. A clinical review in Andrology Journal 2021 found that men who switched to lower pressure stimulation restored up to 25% of lost sensitivity within 6 to 8 weeks. That's not fantasy, that's physiology. The body heals when given the chance. So if you're listening right now and thinking, but I can't feel much unless I press harder, don't panic. It's reversible. Use a natural, fragrance-free lubricant. Ease your grip little by little. Focus less on friction, more on rhythm and warmth. Let sensation rebuild instead of forcing it. And here's the beautiful part. When men do this, they often report something unexpected emotions they haven't felt in years. Connection, calm, real pleasure. Because when you stop fighting your body starts trusting you again. But there's one more layer that almost no one talks about, the emotional weight behind all of this. And if you don't address it, even perfect technique won't help. What I'm about to share next is the hidden reason so many men lose desire, and it has nothing to do with their body at all. What truly breaks my heart is that even when men fix their physical habits, when they slow down, when they loosen their grip, many still feel something missing. They tell me it's working better, but I don't feel connected. That's the third and perhaps most silent mistake of all, ignoring the emotional side of touch. You see, the male body is not a machine that simply turns on or off. It's a living system, intertwined with memory, stress, and emotion. I've sat across from men who carry decades of shame they were taught as boys, shame for wanting intimacy, shame for needing pleasure. And that shame doesn't disappear with age. It hides in the body. It lives in the breath, in the shoulders, in the heartbeat that never quite relaxes. The brain and the body speak to each other constantly through the vagus nerve, the main bridge between emotion and physical arousal. When stress hormones like cortisol add an elevated blood flow to the pelvic region, decreases by up to 40%, according to studies from the American Journal of Physiology. That means even if the body wants to respond, the emotional blockade can literally cut off circulation. I remember one patient, mid-70s, who told me he hadn't felt genuine desire in years. We ruled out all the physical causes, hormones, blood pressure, medication, but the real issue was grief. He had lost his partner a decade earlier and never allowed himself to heal. When he finally began addressing that pain, his desire slowly returned. Not because of pills, not because of technique, but because he allowed emotion back into the equation. That's the secret. Most men miss. Pleasure and safety can't coexist with shame. The body cannot open when the heart is locked. It's like trying to grow a garden on frozen ground. You can water it all you want, but nothing will take root until the ice melts. And scientifically, that emotional thawing matters. The moment your body feels emotionally safe, the parasympathetic system activates blood flow, improves the pelvic floor, relaxes testosterone, stabilizes, and the brain releases dopamine and oxytocin, the very hormones of connection and contentment. So when I teach men how to touch themselves again, I don't just talk about technique. I talk about forgiveness, about breathing, about letting go of guilt that doesn't belong to them. Because healing your sexual health isn't only about blood flow, it's about self-respect. And here's something powerful I've witnessed again and again. When a man reconnects emotionally with his body, his confidence changes completely. He walks differently, he sleeps better. He looks in the mirror and finally sees someone whole, not broken. That's why I tell every patient, your pleasure is not a sin. It's a sign of life. It means your body is still communicating, still vibrant, still capable of joy. But of course, understanding all this means little unless you know how to put it into practice safely, step by step. Because the real transformation happens when you turn this knowledge into a healing ritual for your body, and I'll show you exactly how to do that next. Now that you understand the physical and emotional sides of touch, let's bring it all together into something practical, something you can actually do tonight, because knowledge only changes you when it meets practice. Whenever I guide my patients through this part, I always tell them, start simple. You don't need a complicated routine. You need a safe space. Wash your hands, dim the light, silence your phone. Give yourself 10 minutes that belong only to you. No guilt, no rush, no distractions. Then focus on the small things that make your body feel grounded. A warm shower to relax circulation, slow, deep breathing to calm the nervous system. These are not just nice touches. They're biological triggers. Slow breaths lower cortisol. Warm skin expands the capillaries. And that combination alone can increase blood flow by nearly 20%, according to data from the European Journal of Urology. Next, if you use lubricant, choose one that's natural and unscented. It protects the skin barrier and reduces friction, letting you explore sensation without strain. Pay attention to what feels good, not just physically, but emotionally. Ask yourself, do I feel calm? Do I feel safe? Because arousal built on safety always lasts longer and feels deeper. And if at any moment you notice pain, irritation, or a sudden loss of sensitivity, pause. That's your body's way of asking for care, not punishment. Sometimes it means the tissue needs rest. Sometimes it's a sign of inflammation or poor circulation. Listen to it. The sooner you respond, the faster your body heals. Many men I work with are shocked at how their experience transforms once they treat self-pleasure as self-care. Within a few weeks, they report stronger erections, better sleep, and calmer moods. Their partners notice it too, not because of performance, but because their energy feels different. They're more present, more confident, more alive. It's as if the moment they stopped chasing, released, their body finally started releasing everything it had been holding, the tension, the pressure, the fear of not being enough. That's when real vitality returns. So yes, this is about pleasure. But more than that, it's about reclaiming ownership of your body. It's about replacing shame with curiosity, habit with mindfulness, and guilt with gratitude. Because when you treat your body with understanding, it responds with trust. And trust, that's the real foundation of male health. It's what turns a simple act into a healing ritual. But before we close, there's one truth I want every man to hear, the message that could change the way you see your body for the rest of your life. Because what comes next isn't about technique at all. It's about identity, dignity, and the quiet power of rediscovering yourself. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this: you are not broken. You are simply evolving. Your body hasn't betrayed you. It's asking for a new kind of attention. When you slow down, when you soften your touch, when you let emotion and awareness guide you, you're not just keeping your sexual health alive, you're keeping your spirit alive. Every patient I've worked with who made this shift tells me the same thing: I feel like myself again. That's the gift of reconnecting with your body. It's not just about performance, it's about peace, about knowing you can still enjoy, still belong in your own skin. And if you've made it this far in the video, it means you care about your health, your confidence, your future. So don't stop here. Keep learning, keep listening to your body, and keep showing up for yourself. If this message helped you, save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder. Give it a like and make sure to subscribe because I share weekly medical insights and real solutions designed for men over 50 who want to stay strong, confident, and fully alive. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What part of this resonated with you the most? Have you noticed any of these changes yourself? Your story might help another man feel less alone. Until next time, take good care of your body. It's been taking care of you for a very long time.